Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele. And we're about to get into the Challenge USA, episode 7.
We are chugging along, you guys. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I have been waiting days to talk to you about this episode.
Yes!
I had thoughts, I had feelings.
I definitely had feelings about this episode. I'm kind of, when you respond to comments, like that's something that I try to do is respond to every single comment on a video. And there's a lot of responses going back and forth. I should have maybe stopped commenting at some point.
But it's a bit much right now?
It's a little bit much. I'm kind of like, maybe I'm going to hold back from responding a little bit.
Ooh, well, yay. Let's get into that. All right, up top of episode 7, we're getting our pairs. Once again, no doubling up. Why that one time?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know if I was talking about it with you. Was it with you? Where we realized now that like how they do the algorithm. Yes. Okay, so I mean, I guess they just choose
algorithm
who they want to do first, and they match them. But I still actually think that the producers have a little hand in them because Tyson and Johnny Bananas. So Johnny Bananas is a huge staple of the MTV version of the challenge. And they had kind of like a fake Twitter beef thing that was going on. So Tyson went onto Johnny Bananas podcast, and they're both on the Ringer podcast network, whatever that is. And so on that, they were both being like, that algorithm that conveniently puts together the most interesting combinations. You know what I mean? So they both being on shows like this that kind of have an idea of what the producers are going to do, are saying that the algorithm isn't as random as they'd like to make it seem.
No, of course not. I mean, they literally, producers obviously said we're putting Ben and Sarah together. How do we make that work? Oh, that means Angela has to double up. It was so clear. And then the producers were like, and now we want to put Tyson and Sarah together. Like, we see what they're doing. We can't pretend that this is just how an algorithm worked out. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. It's their show. They're allowed to produce however they want.
That is true. And like, sometimes I wish that they just allowed it to be a full-on randomizer, because I think that the combinations, they would get a happy accident. They'll get all these surprises that they just didn't know was going to happen. And so I think they rob themselves of really entertaining moments because they think that they know better than spontaneity and random like collisions of personalities. So
yeah, I come from this world where we develop television shows, and I have sat in those meetings, and you want to say, you put them in a room and let's see what happens. And no producer and executive will let you get away with that. That is just not, they cannot rest their job on that possibility.
Well, and you know what's really interesting though is because with reality TV, what I fell in love with was like getting to see all these moments that weren't produced, that happened spontaneously. And so now the producer's like, but the spontaneous stuff is really good, but we can force the spontaneity and it's going to be just as good. And it's like, no, you realize what we love about reality TV is when it happens naturally. So you have to trust that you are putting together interesting enough people that something will happen without you having to play God.
They're like, no, trust us. You want Ben and Sarah together. You want Tyson and Sarah together. But here we are. All right. Enzo's going to be with Angela, Danny, Justine, David, Cachet, Kyland and Kira, Leo, Alyssa, Dom and Kayla, Tyson, Sarah, Ben, and Desi. I feel like all of these are interesting because we kind of have like interesting people left here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely at this point, there's nobody that's like really a big dud or anything. I mean, the whole season, I think that the cast has been pretty good. So like the combinations have been decently interesting. But yeah, I kind of already knew. I was like, I know that Sarah and Tyson are going to be together for this one. I did forget what the daily was going to be. So like, I was like, ooh, I wonder if they're going to, like, I thought that they were going to win. And so that's kind of was like, okay, so we're going to be seeing how they're going to work together as a duo. I'm like, okay. But that's not what happened.
Well, I mean, they work together or something. Tyson is with Angela and Kyland, who we eventually are going to call them a three-headed monster or snake or something. Let's get stern, Tyson says. Let's just go ahead and get stern about, hey, don't put people with money in, or you will be the target.
And like listening to a lot of Tyson's interviews and podcasts about each episode, he really pushed that agenda. And it was kind of like, if you had money, you couldn't even tell the people that were outside of the money alliance that you guys were all working together. And so the people that didn't have money were just kind of clueless and being like, why isn't anybody going for Tyson? They should be going for Tyson. But not realizing that everybody really has a pact, this little silent agreement, like, you got money, we stick together, we protect each other.
Right. So I guess up until this point, it's been like hey, let's not target each other with money. But the way Tyson is phrasing it of like, let's take it one step further of like, not like hey, casually, let's protect each other, of like, do not do this or you will be a target, I guess.
Yeah, it makes it a little more threatening, I guess.
Yeah. Dom wants to break up the three-headed monster. Tyson, Angela, and Kylan. Now, we know that they have been winning, but I don't think I quite understood how the three of them were lording themselves over people or running things, or I don't know.
I mean, it must be just because, like, they haven't had to sweat. You know what I mean? Yeah. They haven't had to go down into an elimination. They've been winning a lot. They're qualified. Hi, Michelle. Qualified for the final. And so they kind of been playing the season on easy mode. And he's had to go down into elimination. He hasn't had the best partners. He hasn't been excelling as well as these three are. And so I think it's just because it was very obvious the difference in the game experience that they've had up until this point.
Mm-hmm. Tyson and Sarah. This is so interesting because they had to talk. Hey, let's work together. Yeah, let's shake on. She's not coming for him. Yeah, they shake on it. Sure. Like, it's all so not believable. But they have to go through the motions.
That she really thinks that he thinks that she is actually, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes. Let me scribble some math. Really, Sarah? Really? Wait, I mean, you have to do this. You have to like say, hey, yeah. Right. Let's work together. Sure. Not coming for you.
I got him. Oh, Tyson. I got him. Like, she can't believe that Tyson believes her nonsense.
Right. Neither one of them believes each other. Like, it just, no.
Which is fine. Not. Like, yeah, I don't mind this whole, like, cat and mouse kind of caging each other or whatever, but just like the fact that Sarah thinks that she got one over on Tyson, it's just like, don't you realize that Tyson actually is very, very intelligent?
Like, yeah, no, getting one over him, no, not at all. But this is the beginning of her being like, look, if we win, great, but it's okay for us to go into the arena. I've got this strong partner. Like, this is my way to win money for the final.
And I just think of like, wait, so with her whole thing though, she wants to like spook him and like, you know, make him sweat a little bit. And I'm like, why would you want to do that? He's your partner. You want to make him do well because in turn you do well. So like her thinking that she has like one over on him and that she could like manipulate the whole situation with him. It's just so dumb because she needs him to do well in the daily or in an elimination. Like, he has to do well in order for her to excel and do well. And so she's just a bit of a ding dong in my opinion.
Alyssa, guess what? She doesn't want to pair with Leo. Is she even like, I always go back and watch it a second time for my exit interviews. And when they say, Leo, your pair is Angela. I mean, Alyssa, her face is like she can't even, I'm like, Alyssa, you're on television. There's like cameras all over you.
She probably thought she was like being like this, like, you know what I mean? Like smiling from the inside, but really she's like.
She could not even pretend. But here's what I really need to talk about, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to Skype call. Mm-hmm. Leo is having with his girlfriend, Aaliyah. And all we see is her saying, I'm putting out fires that you should be doing. You should be here doing this. You are letting a lot of us down, all of your employees. And he just is to the point where he's like, fine, I'm coming home right now.
Do you
We
know?
see him.
Do you want me to leave? Do you want me to leave? And then she's
Yeah.
like, yes.
Okay, now let's talk about this because obviously editing is involved here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see the whole conversation. I would have liked to have seen how the conversation started.
So I haven't heard this for myself, but Drew, who I also talked about this episode yesterday, he said that she went on, I believe it was an Instagram live, and said that first off, this was two different incidences. So one, like the conversation that they had was not at the same time when he was packing, like it was definitely franken-bited or cut up, all that stuff. And then she also said that when he agreed to be on the show, that apparently he was going to be allowed to take phone calls and being able to still stay in touch and interact with, like, I don't know, his business partners or producers or whatever. I don't know who, but and then that hasn't been the case. And so seemingly MT or CBS hasn't kept up with their end of the bargain with him being allowed to still keep in contact with the people that he needed to while he was gone. But I think regardless of that, like, you still were really rude and it was really uncomfortable to watch. And I agree with you. I saw your tweet. Like, if that was my partner speaking to me that way, that would be the end of our relationship. 100%.
I'm not even being dramatic here. Like, the lack of support is astonishing. It was so uncomfortable to watch that I had a hard time sleeping that night. I was like stressed out about Leo's relationship. I just feel like, because later he's gonna say it may be selfish of me to be here, and I was like, oh my gosh, like the fact that he feels that at all inside, and the fact that his partner in life is adding to that by not being supportive and being like, you should be the one taking care of this. There are literally people who that's their job, to take care of credit card machines at a restaurant. Go call them. Go figure it out. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. So many that do not require a man in Argentina to rescue you from this situation.
No, there's millions of people that could take care of the situation for you.
Millions.
And I think it was also said that she has a full-time job, so like this was like really stressful on her as well. But I would have to believe that there was some sort of agreement that was made with him leaving, being like, you take care of this, and this. I don't know why she said yes to that if she has a full-time job, because like running a business is a full-time job. But why did they just hire somebody for 6 weeks? Like, my best friend, I mentioned this already, she's been running her boyfriend's new restaurant. She's been managing it, but she's away for this week. And so like I'm helping out. And like we have another friend of ours who's a general manager who's like helping out for the week. Like, it's not that hard to get someone to help out for the week. And Google is very helpful if you need to find someone to help you do something. Like, I don't know why she had to put it all on him. I think that there was so many solutions. I thought she looked terrible, and I would be mortified if I had that edited online.
Oh yeah, I bet she is not happy. I'm sure Leo's not happy. Like, that's not a good look for anybody. I mean, James was tweeting like, y'all need to calm down. It sounded like people were tweeting like, leave her, you know, like, I mean, obviously we don't know their relationship, but yeah, if I was like, oh my God, the challenge, I got on, I'm going, I'd have a whole talk with Douglas. Or if I, was dating someone and be like, okay, all right, I got to line up my businesses or whatever. Yes. Maybe Leo should have hired a business manager instead of
his girlfriend,
asking his girlfriend to help out, because I used to manage a restaurant. It does take a lot of work. I sat on hold for hours with credit card customer service. Like, it is stressful and takes time. But like, if Douglas ever called and was like, you got to come back, I'd be like, I don't think you understand the situation.
Right, exactly. Like, if he were to be calling, I would think of like, you need to help me figure out a solution here. What can we do? I don't want you to take you out from here, but I just want you to know that things aren't going as smoothly as we would have hoped here at home. What can we do to fix this? Like, who should I call? Who should I get in touch with? Who should I hire? Like, how can I fix this? Because we're losing a lot of money.
Right. Again, I do want to say, we get it. It was edited. We did not see all of the conversation and we do not know the relationship, but she said the words, you should be putting these fires out. And she said, you're letting these people down. And that's emotional manipulation that I am just not on board with. Like that kind of talk from someone who supposedly cares about you is dangerous and unhealthy. And if you're in a relationship where you're hearing that, or maybe your family members or something, like acknowledge it, it's real, and like let's take some healthy steps out of that relationship because you deserve it.
And if it was like reversed, and so it was a woman that was on the show and a guy that was back at home speaking to her in the exact same fashion, we would have a lot of problems with how he was speaking to her.
Right?
A lot of problems.
Oh man, like, people would be outraged.
Yeah. So
yeah.
And there
and
have
what
been
about all the women who go on these shows who leave their children behind? If they're allowed to literally leave their families for these experiences, you're allowed to leave your restaurants.
Yeah.
Your employees are going to be okay.
Absolutely. And, you know, one thing I have been mentioning is like, he's probably able to have some of these businesses because of his success and fame with CBS. Right.
Yeah, right.
So like people are going to his restaurants because they're like, hey, like, oh my God, it's the guy from The Amazing Race. Like, cool. He has a restaurant. Let's visit it while we're in XYZ city. And so for him to be even considering picking up and leaving and just kind of burning what he agreed upon with CBS, he'd be fully burning back that bridge. And I think that would be more than a $45,000 mistake, because him staying, like, he might get a call back. Him leaving, I don't think that would be forgivable for CBS. They don't tend to invite quitters back.
No, for sure. Well, Alyssa's going to step this real quick. And just to switch gears here, I keep going out of focus. I keep going too far back. Just to switch gears here, Alyssa's like, God, this made me crack up so much because y'all get my point of view here. He should not leave for this. This is ridiculous. But then Alyssa's like, what about me? And I was like, are you kidding me, Alyssa? Like, you are so down the list of his priorities.
But I understand.
Of course I understand. But like, if he were my partner, I'd be like, oh, you have an emergency? Oh, shoot. I wouldn't say, what about me?
I'm trying to think. I mean, maybe they've had more conversations as well. And that's just like what we were getting clipped. Yeah. Because I can just see that. Yes, I mean, obviously he has a lot more going on, because like I will be taking out of this situation as well if you were to go. Yeah. And so like I know that, like, you know, being like kind and generous and like, hey, like, you know, you take care of you, I'll be fine with whatever decision you make. Like, I don't think she wanted to do that at that moment. And so
yeah, I definitely understand being like, wow, this is really unfortunate timing. If you leave now, you know, I don't get to go to the daily. Like, let's talk about this. Like, that I get. But the fact that she was just like, me, I was like, oh God, Alyssa.
But I think it was effective. So however she spoke to him, it worked.
Right. All right. My favorite daily. Here we go. Recreational driving.
You love the name, huh?
I love the name. I love these cars. I love that we get to drive into each other. This is amazing. So the driver is going to be blindfolded. I love a blindfolded challenge. The passenger has to direct them. This is amazing.
Are you a bumper cart enthusiast?
I mean, I haven't done it since I was a little kid.
I don't know, I feel like I need to do bumper cars again. I feel like I'm missing out.
I'd probably just be like, oh, I'm too old now. This hurts.
It was super fun, the challenge. My one problem with it was just like not being able to follow who was where. I know they had their little markers of who was in which car, but it was just like I was just watching people kind of go around. I wasn't really seeing like, okay, that person's strategy and they should go here. Like, I couldn't really enjoy it in that way. So it would probably be a lot more fun to be playing in that one as opposed to watching, but I still think it was pretty cool.
Yeah, we really don't. It's not till the end when you really see like Kayla's strategy of like, ram it again. Okay, let's circle around and do it again. You know, like then we could see someone really getting attacked. But otherwise, we're just like cars running into each other and like who's doing what. Kayla's going to name their car the Dreamsicle.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. We see like multiple conversations, then cut to Tyson and Sarah.
not like and Tyson always has like one-liners, or like he always has a little bit of a conversation, and they just have not one word to say to each other.
No chemistry at all. Nothing happening between these two. Yeah, color coded. That's a great idea.
That would have been helpful for sure.
Kiki is a horrible driver. Danny, how dare you?
Danny, this is the first time that you've not spoken like supremely positively about Kiki. I wonder if Kiki's mad at him for that.
Yeah,
because I know he was worried about Angela pulling him up on the dock, but yeah, I think that she'd be more mad at you saying to the world that she's a bad driver.
Yeah, I wonder, did she say, "Oh yeah, he's right, I'm a bad driver"? Or was she like, "How dare you?
How dare you?"
All right, Alyssa and Leo, they seemed like they were doing well, but like you said, it was really kind of hard to tell how this challenge was really going. And he is going to run into the side, and they are going to be the first out here at this comp.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that they were doing really well, and I thought that maybe what the whole story of this episode was like, okay, he decided to stay, and then they end up winning the daily, so then he qualifies for the final, and like that's kind of what I was thinking. And then I'm like, oh, now your car's dead. I'm like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, does that mean that he's just gonna like quit and she's just gonna go out like this? I'm like, no, she can't go out like this. TJ was praising her too much, like she can't go out like this. But I was a bit worried.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, all of this buildup for Leo is gonna win this. This is like looking good. And then nope, they're first out. Then we just started to see a bunch of wrecks. Angela and Enzo out, Kira and Kylan out, Cachet and David out, Sarah and Tyson, they're gonna wreck, get out. Then Desi and Ben are wrecked out, and they seem like they were doing well as well.
They were doing well. I mean, a lot of the teams were doing well. Sarah thought she was doing well, and like she's like, oh yeah, I do this like, I don't know, at lunchtime, like it's like my daily routine, and you know, but she literally was not listening to what Tyson was doing at all, and they crashed out. And like, I just have to remind people that are like super Sarah fans, like she is clearly been the weakest link in all of her partnerships, even though she's been pointing the finger at the other person, because like she's been with Tyson, she's been with Ben, and both those times she didn't do really well, and she's the common denominator. So
what was her first Survivor season? I just rewatched it. What was it? Was it Cagayan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that I just rewatched it, and I was actually shocked at how bad she played in Cagayan, because I do think highly of her on Survivor, and I was like, dang, she really screwed up.
I don't fully remember, but was she really gullible? Was that what it was? I can't remember how.
No, she went on a like an ego trip. She like got full of herself at the merge.
Oh,
she became the swing vote in both sides of the merge, and it went straight to her head, and she just started bossing people around. And that's when Cass was like, okay, I'll be the swing vote instead. She moved over, took Sarah out, and Sarah was like, wait, what? Like she did not even see it coming.
Cass.
Chaos. Oh my god,
take her out. I remember being happy when that happened, so that's all I could remember right now about that.
I call it Cagayan. Am I saying it wrong? Cagayan?
What did you say?
I say Cagayan. I mean, I don't say Cagayan.
Cagayan? No, it's Cagayan.
Cagayan. I'm
Survivor
saying
Cagayan.
It right. Cagayan.
Cagayan.
Now the word just sounds so weird to me. Okay.
Survivor Cagayan.
Yeah, Survivor Cagayan. Am I saying it wrong?
I think you're saying it right. I don't know what.
Oh, you say Cagayan?
Cagayan?
Oh, Cagayan.
Survivor Cagayan.
No, I say Cagayan. Sorry.
Survivor Cagayan. Maybe it is Cagayan. What's the other one that's wrong? That's the close one.
Oh, wrong. Yeah.
Cagayan. Oh, Cagayan. I don't know now. I don't know.
I feel like it can be either. Thank you.
Let's go to Google Phonetics.
All right. We are down to Kayla and Dom and Justine and Danny. And this is fun because Kayla and Dom cutting back to them, it does seem like they've got a good rhythm. Dom's like, it sounds like my wife telling me what to do, feeling good. And she does really, it seems like she does a good job of being like, yeah, now turn hard left, smash into him again. We're going to get him again, turn around, boom. And they're out. They burst all their balls or whatever.
I love Kayla, but I was so rooting for Justine and Danny in this one. I'm like, come on, like they're doing so well.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like Justine is a really great partner. We haven't been seeing her that much, but she's been still excelling as a partner, whether it's in elimination or in these challenges. So I wanted Danny and Justine to have that power this episode, but they were so close, but they couldn't cinch the win.
It's tough because I am so in love with Kayla. I just think she's so fun. So I was very excited that she got to win. But yeah, Justine and Danny are both great people. And I do feel like Justine is not getting the talk or the cred that she should be. Like she has really shown up for herself. But yeah, no one's really like talking about it.
Except I think it was it this episode that Danny said that, oh, she's probably the MVP of the season.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, kinda. Yeah. She's pretty close. If she has one more win under her belt or an elimination win, or even gets to the final, I think that she will solidify her as one of the best players this season.
She should definitely be a reg. We were talking last week about like how if David won, that would be surprising. If Enzo won, that would be surprising. I mean, I feel like if she were to win, it would be surprising just because of, we just didn't see her coming and no one's like thinking of her as a threat, but just like they're not thinking of David as a threat. Those people can sneak up.
I mean, I could see a world where Justine wins, and I'd be really happy to see that. That's freaking awesome.
Well, Kayla and Dom are going to be the winners here for sure, and Alyssa and Leo. We got our two amazing racers here at the top and the bottom. They were first out, so definitely going into elimination. All right.
It just sucks that like they're going into elimination on an episode where it seems like he wants an easy out to go home. And so I was getting a little bit worried. I'm like, oh, hopefully she doesn't have to convince him again. Like, hopefully he's like in it to win it. Like, it is a lot of money that you're just saying no to, and you're getting pretty close to it. You're probably at the halfway point or even past the halfway point. Like, that's close to $250,000. Like, I think that you'll be okay with that. Or your partner will be okay if you came home with that money.
Yeah, I mean, this is literally a job. You're at a job. They're paying you to do this. I'm okay, though, like if you have any sort of valid reason that you feel like you're done with this show, you didn't like it, it's not what you thought you were signing up for, whatever, you miss your family, go out by throwing a challenge. Okay. That's better than just packing up in the middle of the night and leaving, in my book.
Fine.
But yeah, I don't really want to see it, but I'm just saying, if you're going to do it, this is the time. But then I do kind of feel bad for Alyssa. But that's like, not
couldn't he quit when he was with Sarah?
They're like, we'll pay you to quit when you're with Sarah.
Yeah.
All right, let's deliberate here. This is when Leo says, it may look selfish. And I was like, no, honey, please stop. You took a job. Alyssa doesn't want to say names. I feel like, who was Azza with? Cinco? Azza and Cinco started a trend ever since that episode. We haven't seen them walk into deliberation and not want to say names.
I think it might be that everybody left had a winner in there. And so maybe that's why Alyssa didn't want to say any names, because she didn't want to start that war. So that's my thought about maybe why Alyssa didn't say anything. And then maybe Leo was just following her lead. Because, yeah, like if she decided to say like, oh, I think that I want to go against, I don't know, Angela and Enzo, because she thinks they could beat them. Like, it just, if it gets back around, that just doesn't look great for their alliance. So I think that's why they didn't want to say anything.
Yeah. I mean, and it's no secret that they're not working with Kayla and Dom. Like, Kayla and Dom are very much have not been at the top of this game, right? This whole time. And so giving them information is kind of like, we're not really working together. So I'm only going to say so much. But so after they leave, Dom is like, ha, I'm in power. This is when I want to do it. Ha ha ha. Angela and Kylan, put me in.
Okay. Didn't he like pout and like, I know they're throwing me in, I know they're throwing me in, and like he had so much like attitude, and like we had Cash being like, hey, like it's getting around that people are saying that you like know that we're going in, like maybe if you could stop that because maybe they won't put us in.
Like he said, I want to go in. He said, I want to go in.
And so now he has like animosity for them just honoring his wishes.
It is a bit bizarre because she was like, please, you're not playing smart, remember? Because he was like, I want to go in. That's not smart. And he was like, how dare you? And he ran away. Yeah. And so now he's going to hold a grudge because he said he wanted to go in.
So the worst. He's so the worst. And like,
Selective
I mean,
memory, you know?
He must not remember the fact that, or like know that in the final, chances are you're going to be switching around with female partners. Like you'll have one partner for one section and another partner for another section. Like most likely that's how the final is going to be set up. So you might be running with some of these women. So you want to stack the deck as a male competitor with women that you believe that you can win the game with, because it could be like, say like you get someone super slow on a swimming portion of the final, like that could ruin your entire game. So I don't know how they're going to do it. They could be timed sections. Like, I don't know. There's different ways that they've done the finals over the years. But like, you would want to have Angela in the final. Kayla doesn't want to have Angela in the final. You know what I mean? So the fact that he's like, oh, I want to throw Angela in there just for revenge. It's like, that's not smart. You should want to run with the final with Angela. She doesn't want to run with you, but you should want to run with her.
Sherry Lynn, I believe it is 3 days. They get a day off, right? And then it's a daily, and then it's the arena.
I would imagine so. I believe that Tyson said around 6 weeks is the filming. So
I remember them talking about like, because they get their partner at the end of arena, and then they have the next day to like bond. Then they play a daily.
Then they go out for the night.
And then, yes. And then it's the third day that they do the arena and then get a next partner. So it's something along those lines. All right. Well, Kayla here tells us that she wants to put a certain someone in who has never talked with her. And we don't hear who that is, but we see a shot of Angela. So I thought it was Angela at this point. And maybe it was 2 people, but we're thinking Angela at this point.
I thought Angela personally, because I was like, well, Angela doesn't stick to her own. When she has an alliance, she just sticks with her alliance. Kayla hasn't won any money at this point, and so they're kind of like, people with money don't really talk to the people without money. So I was just like, yeah, it must be Angela, because Angela's she's not that chatty of a person. But then I was thinking, actually, I'm just thinking this now. What am I talking about? When they were at Alyssa's birthday party in Miami, Angela was there. And so I was like, I mean, I know she lives kind of close to Florida, but there must be a friendship there, because Kayla was there, James was there, Kylan. And so all these people were there. So I'm like, maybe they're just misleading us a little bit with the Angela of it all.
Well, I feel like it was post all of this.
Yeah.
Angela and Kayla might now be
maybe
they might now be friendly through Alyssa and other connections. But I think up until this point, Angela and Kayla were not close, not talking. But this is when Angela does one-on-ones. She talks to Kayla. She sits down with her saying, like, I feel like it's going to be me or Kylan. She talks to Dom one-on-one as well. I love her excuse was like, Kayla, I know we haven't talked, but like, I just never wanted to come for you. So that's why I was like, that's not a reason, but okay.
Well, I
At
thought
least
she
she's
did
trying.
well, though. She did also say
Yeah.
about the fact that, like, hey, like, the chances are, like, I might win another daily or be in power again. I can promise you that I will never come for you. I
Yes.
will protect you if I can, and said the same thing to Dom. And I think that that is very useful because we do see how strong she is, and she could be with another strong competitor. It's very easy to believe that she could win power again, and to keep them safe
Right.
now that they've won money, I think is even more of a good insurance policy. So
Absolutely. I think this is a great pitch. This is like classic Big Brother training coming out in Angela of like, look, this is what I can offer you. And it is a good deal. And the fact that she's having a one-on-one with Kayla, I do think speaks volumes here, because we're about to learn that the next one does not take the time to do that. But first we see Tyson and Sarah, which we start with, like, was it Kayla who's like, have you noticed? Tyson hasn't left her side. Cut to just there together.
he's just hating his life.
Hating his life, not trusting her to be without him. Just
For good reason.
babysitting.
For good reason.
Yeah, because he's hearing that she's like, hey, I want money. Throw me in. I'll do it.
So, question.
Yeah.
You just kind of made it seem like when he was saying to her, like, you know, people are wanting to be thrown in, that he was alluding it to be her. Is that
Yes.
what is really? Okay, so I was thinking that, like, maybe it was because how they clipped it at the end of last episode, that they're just talking about like random people that like are other people that want to go in. But so you think that he was being like, hey, I've been hearing that there have been some people that have been wanting to throw themselves in, and okay, I didn't realize that. Cool.
Yeah. I think that Dom told him. And I think that he was like, hey, oh God, that's what's happening. And she's flat out lying to him, like, oh, no, right? And he's like, yeah, it's too early. It's too early to be doing that.
Yeah. And then she's like, well, I just wanted him to sweat a little bit. It's like,
yeah,
but
no.
You also want him to perform well.
Right.
Like, yeah, not too bright.
This is interesting strategy, because I do get that she's a strong player and she wants to qualify for that final. Like, the fact that she doesn't have money this far into the game is probably driving her a little bit bonkers. But at this point, it's such an important strategy to keep her away from that money.
Yeah, get her out, stay her out of there.
I feel like at this point, I'm purposely not putting you in and hoping that you're just going to get eliminated at some point. Or we get to the end, you never win the money. Like, that's a good strategy.
Absolutely. CT is another regular from the main show. And there was one season where it looked like he wasn't going to be able to get any money, because you had to go down and get a skull. So it wasn't just winning a daily, but you had to win an elimination and come back out to qualify for a final. And so anytime people won, they wouldn't throw him in there. So he wasn't able to get a skull because people were scared of him beating them. And so they kind of were locking him out of potentially running the final. So it's definitely a strategy, especially when you get to this point. If you don't want her to run, you could definitely lock her out of that. And if you have money and you're her partner, you could be like, well, I don't really need you to run the final. So
right, of course, Tyson's like, it's too early for that because I'm set. And I don't want you to have money.
Exactly. It's like, I don't need to go down there, so let's not.
And she probably has to feel that too, like, they're keeping me from this money. But yeah, this is good strategy. Dom, Kayla, and Kylan. So Kylan's going to do his talks, but they're not one-on-one. He sits down with Dom and Kayla together, and he does an interesting pitch. I do appreciate when it's like, look, I got a strong partner, Kara. Like, I feel good. You put us in there, we're coming back.
Yeah, but I think that he just kind of he just counted out Kayla for the whole season, that even, like anybody else maybe having this 2-on-1 situation would have been fine. But when you haven't really developed a relationship with at least one of the two people for the past month, it's kind of like they're just going to do whatever they want at this point. Anything you say doesn't really matter, because like you didn't seem to care about them before they were in power. So
Right.
I think it's a little bit too little too late from Kylan personally. And I understand why Kayla is just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, and from Kylan's perspective, when I spoke to him, he seemed to think this was like Dom. This was all Dom. He had beef with Kylan. He wanted Kylan out, and Kayla was like, "Yeah, well, I don't have a relationship with Kylan." Sure, it was kind of that vibe where she wasn't gonna like put her foot down and save Kylan.
Well, I mean, it's definitely better for Kylan or for Dom to have Kylan out of there if he can't really go for Angela. Well, he shouldn't want to go for Angela, and he can't go for Tyson. Really, like I think he's scared of Ben and Sarah being mad at him even more. And so yeah, I think that to break up that three-headed dragon, snake, whatever, I think Kylan was the answer. Now I wonder though if. Because, like, for the same reasons why I think it would be silly for Dom to go against, like, to throw down Angela, I would think that it would be silly for Kayla to want Kylan gone, regardless of whether or not she's spoken game with him, because he is a decently strong competitor. So you would think that she'd want to run with him in the final. Right, so I'm wondering if her actual person was Angela and Dom convinced her to go for Kylan instead. I'm not sure, obviously.
Yeah. I don't know, but this is definitely the first strike. Well, I don't know if it's the first, but it's a strike against this winner's pack, right? So, I mean, Angela does a good pitch of like, I will not put you in, I offer this up. But do they fully know, hey, you're now a part of this winner's pack, we protect each other, and are they just actively saying, oh, screw that?
I don't know if they know that yet. I'm feeling like all the other teams must have had at least one winner on them. And maybe like it's after like the person comes back, you'd be like, okay, you're in the club now. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure how they decide to tell the new people about like the winner's pact, but
I feel like it would be the first thing you do. You sit them down and you say, oh, welcome to the winner's circle. Now you don't put any of us in. And now we protect each other because they don't want to go in.
It's true. So maybe that's what Tyson did?
Yeah, I think Tyson did that. And Dom was like, cool, but I'm taking out Kylan.
I mean, I'm sure, though, that, like, Tyson's probably not that upset about that, right? Because, like, taking out Kylan, he doesn't really want to run against Kylan. I know he doesn't want
Kylan
to
keep Angela.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Alrighty. Let's go to the arena. We see Leo and Alyssa, obviously. And then we are going to get the official. They are sending in Kira and Kylan. And now I am a big supporter of Leo. And Alyssa has shown to do well. But I honestly thought, I don't know that this is when you throw in Kylan and Kira. This is dangerous.
Because I was like, they're both good, like Alyssa and Leo, but they're both petite. You know, they're both quite small. And when I'm seeing what they're having to do, I'm like, these heavy medicine balls and like height is very high where they have to place these medicine balls. I was like, I don't know if they're gonna be able to pull through on this one, because just having a couple inches for both of them is going to be really useful for Kylan and Kira. So I was worried as well.
Well, this looked really hard. I mean, they have to answer questions, and then they have to go get the ball with the number of the answer. And they're 20 pounds, but it's about lifting it up to the top. And the struggle. It just made my arms hurt.
Yeah, I was hurting now thinking about having to do that. How many times they did that.
Like,
I'm like,
and they're like balancing. So it's not even like you can do really two hands. You're kind of like trying to get this ball up.
Yeah.
I mean, Kylan and Kira have to do a whole sort of like restructure, readjust to figure out that she needs to like stand on his back because it was not working at first.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that this was I enjoyed this challenge because It took some strength stuff. It took some questions. It looks a
Yeah.
little bit of trial and error. So it ended up equalizing the teams, this particular
Right.
challenge, which is what I enjoy when it's not just like, okay, we know this is a physical elimination. The bigger person is most likely going to win. It was a little bit misleading on who was going to do well. So I enjoyed it. Did you know all the answers? I know most of them. But.
No, I mean, I know most of them, but yeah, there were, I mean, I do know Adele's out. I think I knew the ones that were problemsome. Like I knew Adele's albums. I knew Madonna's marriages.
Well, with Madonna's marriages, I'm like, I can only think of two. And that's all I was thinking. I was like, I don't know. I can only think of two. So,
but we are of the age,
I know,
like
I remember
we know her heyday, like when she was young and getting married. And
what do you mean? I wasn't born in the 21st century.
These youngins are like, I just assume she's been married a gazillion times. And you're like, you don't know. You've heard of this like fictitious Madonna that used to exist or something.
I think Angelina's children, I mean, I would have figured it out, but that would have been a little bit challenging because I'd just be like, what is it? Like 6, 7, 8, somewhere around there.
No, I was like, is it 10 now? Like I honestly.
Wait, how many? Track. We didn't see the answers though. So
it was 6.
Like 6? Okay.
It was 6.
I guess the twins,
Leo knew it,
and then the 3 adopted. That's true. So,
yeah, you stop counting after a while, and you just think, oh, it's a lot. Yeah, I would have definitely messed up on that one, but
we would have started though
at
6, though, right? Like I would have started at 6,
true,
and maybe gone up to 7. I wouldn't have gone higher than 7. I would have gone down to 5 after that.
How much did you love Leo being like, Kat? That's for me, TJ. Yeah.
But like also not true. Like cats literally only have one life. Like, but I get it. Like if you're gonna be like specific.
I think it was phrased like, what is it said about cats or something like that.
Cats are said to have how many lives? Okay,
yes.
Fine.
Yeah, because otherwise you're like, no, it's one. We all just have the one. Yeah, this was fun and stressful to watch. I did feel like after Kylan and Kira readjusted that it looked like they were boom, boom, boom. And there were some shots where Alyssa was struggling and we could see that Kylan had more balls up on the frame. So I think they were ahead. But once you realize, they both have questions they're struggling with and are getting it wrong. And then you see Kylan and Kira just keep going up with the Madonna marriages. And I was like, oh, this is it. Like you have to go down. It's going to be forever before they figure that out.
Yeah. And I believe it was on your exit press when they're just talking about like how they were going to go to put number 13 marriages. Yes. And I was like, come on. Like you were going to go up to 13 before you went back down to 4 and then 3, 2, 3-2. Like they really could have won that challenge if they just decided to go down to first or started lower. Like even if they started at 1 and just went all the way up, they would have won faster.
Yeah, if you're like, we honestly don't know, let's start from the beginning and go. But they were of the mindset of like, it must be a lot. So they started at like 5 or 4 or something, and they just kept going up. And yeah, they said like 15 or 17 is when they were like, couldn't be this. Let's go low. And I was like, no, it couldn't be. What are you doing?
It's definitely like, I don't know anybody that's been married like 13 times. I can't think of anybody. Elizabeth Taylor was like 9 times.
Right. No one's been married more than Elizabeth Taylor. They don't even know who Elizabeth Taylor is. But that's like a marriage a year of your adult life. Like
no, every 2 years.
Like, huh? Like it's almost impossible to do. So yeah, all of a sudden, boom, Leo and Alyssa figure out how many albums Adele has, and that's all she wrote.
That one I didn't know for sure. Like I knew like 25 and I knew 30, and I would have probably end up guessing, 19 and 21. 19. But I definitely, that would have stumped me, but like I think we could have talked it through. But one thing though, like I noticed with Kira and Kylan is that like I'm wondering if Kylan as a partner was a little bit challenging to get some of these questions right, because he sounds so sure of himself sometimes that it seems like his partner doesn't want to say like, hey, I have a different idea. And I noticed that with the Spice Girls question where he's like, oh yeah, there's four. And she's like, Ginger?
4 is already taken, I think, at that point.
Yeah, and she's like, Ginger?
She's
And
like,
he's
"Let's
like,
talk
oh,
it
yeah,
out."
yeah, yeah, five. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But like, he was
Yeah.
already shutting her down, like not being open to it being 5. And then like when she was like suggests another person, he was like, oh yeah, of course, right.
But he knew cows have what,
Mhm.
6, 7 stomachs? 4 stomachs?
4.
6 stomachs?
4.
Yeah.
4. Well, it's like 4 areas in one stomach, but we'll
He
see.
knew that answer, and then she suggested a different answer, and he was like, "Oh, okay, you think?" So at that point, I was like, "No, you know." But
maybe he was
did
trying
switch.
to be malleable in that
Right.
situation because maybe he realizes that sometimes he's very assured about things
Mhm.
and maybe he's wrong.
Right.
So maybe he was like trying to balance it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, Leo, I think he's getting he was getting a really bad rap in this house, and like, y'all need to stop that because
Well, at this
he
point,
has
you
showed up.
want him in the end if you're a guy. So
Right.
mhm.
And he's got such a fun edit at this point that, like, yeah, take him to the end. Let's go. Give him the win for all I care. Like,
he could screw somebody over for, you know, in the final, just for the fact that if they're partnered with him in a swimming section, like that could be detrimental to their time or whatnot.
Yeah.
And so it really depends on how they do this final. So it could not matter. Like everybody could be like running for themselves and just have to change partners up and stuff. But
let's talk about this end here because TJ's like, oh, screw that perfect algorithm, y'all. And they're like, what is this? What is gonna happen?
I don't know. But what we're all thinking is that it's going to go to an individual game at this point. So I'm thinking that'll be a mini final, which they sometimes do. And so they'll have like, it will be a longer daily where they'll have to do multiple different kind of checkpoints type thing. And basically whoever male and then female comes in first, that's going to be the authority. Is that what they were calling it this season? The authority? Or is that another season? I don't know.
Never heard it.
Sometimes it's called the authority. You know, they'll be in the power position or whatever. And then whoever the 2 people in the bottom will go into elimination. So that's kind of what we're thinking, but it's not running in pairs. Everybody will be for themselves is what we are thinking. So.
Okay. I like it. I like not being in like duos or teams. That would be very fun to see. Now, I mean, this preview that was attached to this episode was wild. There was so much happening. Were they showing us some of the final? Because then I was like, do I know who's going to the final now?
That's why I'm thinking it's a mini final.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know. I don't think that they would show all the people that are in the final like that, just for the fact that there's still 5 episodes left, and that would really take a lot of suspense out. So I think that they were showing clips of maybe a mini final, which is something that they tend to do. Or it could even be a larger purge. And so sometimes they do say a mini final like this and like 4 people will go home, or like they'll have to do elimination in the middle of this mini final. Like they could change it up and stuff like that. So I don't think they showed the actual final here. I think it was a mini one.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Gregory, this is a great strategy. I'm going to remember this if I go on any of these shows. Go over, then under. Go over, then under.
Oh, if you're guessing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't just go one way. Absolutely.
You'll start in the middle and then go up. Yeah.
No. So you got to go.
You've accidentally started in the middle, over, then under, over, then under. Yeah. That's a great plan. Okay, last week, Chantele and I did some math, and we think that there are 10 episodes of this season ending us on September 7th.
That's the only thing. Tyson said that there's still 4 more episodes.
There would be 11?
Or 5. No, he said 5 more episodes. So 12.
Okay, 12. I mean, 12 makes sense, but then they must double up, because that leaves us to September 21st. And Survivor and Amazing Race. Though, right? What do you mean?
Oh, they're on the 21st? They start, both of them?
Yeah. Did that change? I haven't written
No. I was thinking in my head that it started on the 28th.
So, I mean, it's possible that episodes 11 and 12 just make a 2-hour block on the
week
14th.
Before.
That if there's 12 episodes, that must be what happens.
It could be it. I mean, they don't usually. Yeah, it's actually hard to say because most of the challenge is an hour and a half. So like on MTV, and then on the streaming platforms, like they can do whatever they want. So, oh no, it's not a streaming platform this time. So I don't know. It's on CBS. I would imagine then maybe they'll do for the final just a 2-hour double episode and just do the final and the finale. Maybe. Okay. The week before,
because it has to be over before the 21st.
They don't have a time slot on the 21st.
They don't have a time slot, exactly. So I was saying 10 episodes on the 7th, but I would imagine Tyson knows more, so then that would take us to one more week, the 14th, with maybe some sort of double up, but that's not that much. That's just technically
a month away,
a few more weeks.
4 weeks.
Purge away, I say. Get rid of some people. It's exciting.
So exciting. I mean, it's we're getting to the point where it's like, who's going to run the final? The final is usually pretty fun and intense. Sometimes they've been messing it up, so I don't know what they're going to be doing. Whereas like day one, you're collecting points or you're collecting time or, some sort of determining placement order and stuff like that in day one. And what they've been doing on the All-Stars version is scrapping day one, and then day two you start fresh. And it's like, well, what was the point of like killing yourself on day one? Like, yes, there was a purge and a team didn't qualify for day two, but like being first on day one didn't really matter day two. And so I hope they don't do stuff like that, because like, I don't know, sometimes we don't get who I think would be the deserving winner because of like technicalities like that.
Oh, do you have a deserving winner yet?
I think that everybody here would deserve to win. I would be happy with this. But when I'm saying like deserving winner, it's like somebody that did so well day one of the final, blew people out of the water, like an hour ahead of everybody. And then the overnight portion happens. And then the next day they start at zero and they lose for whatever reason. You know what I mean? But they should have had an hour head start kind of thing.
I think I really need to see some people make it to whatever this end point is and not have the money to qualify for the final.
Now, I know that's something that you would want. They've never done that before. Everybody's always been able to qualify. So CBS might be different.
Don't just be giving people money.
It wasn't that they were giving people money, but everybody still had an opportunity to qualify, kind of thing.
Right.
Like there was enough weeks, or there was just like enough time. Or a specific challenge being like, if you win this challenge, like everybody gets $5,000, whatever, something stupid. So
what, I don't even know how much money everybody has. So maybe Sarah doesn't have money.
How much money does she have though? Because some people were being like, well, like she throws herself in. Enzo qualified, didn't he? Or almost qualified. How much did he take from him? And Justine won against, no, he didn't. He hasn't qualified yet. Because he would have 1,000 from the beginning, and then he would have half of Derek and Shannon's money, which would be another 1,000. So Enzo has $2,000.
And I think it's the same for Sarah, right?
Sarah, who did she go against? They only had $2,000, so it's 1,000. So she had 1,000. So
Ben
Sarah
hasn't won anything. He doesn't have any money.
Wait, so if Sarah did go down there with Tyson and won, would she have? I don't think she would even have enough money to qualify yet. Because Alyssa would have 5,000, Leo would have 2,000.
He's probably got a couple thousand.
So 7,000, 3,500. Okay, so she would have qualified because I think she has $2,000.
I don't know. I should look at the money before next stream, just to see who's really on the edge here, because I was thinking Enzo isn't qualified yet. I was thinking Sarah wasn't. I don't think Ben is yet. I don't think Danny's trying, but he hasn't.
I think that's it. I think that's those four people.
Cachet's won.
Cachet won with Tyson.
Yeah.
Dom just won. Kayla just won. So it's Leo, Ben, Sarah, and Danny, I believe, are the four people that have not qualified yet.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
No, I know. Oh, she's 2.5. Why? How? What is she?
I have to go
How
back
does she
and-
have that much? Oh, because Azza won. That was her second elimination. She won the
Right,
one
she won the first one.
with against Selly and Giovanni.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, you are right, Lovable Nikki. Thank you. So she would have qualified if she went down for sure.
All righty. Well, a few more weeks of this. Fun times. No more algorithm/producers. But that's all right. I enjoyed it, and I will like no duos. I'm down for this. If you guys haven't seen the exit press with Kyland and Kira, please check that out. I have to say, this is the first time I've talked to Kyland in an interview, and same with Kira. But whenever I start and I've never met them before, I say, "Hi, I'm Sarah," as I'm like setting up the record and everything. And then I'll start a question, right? And Kira goes, "Hi." And Kylan goes, like nothing. He did not even like nothing. He started like this and then he ended like that. When I said, "Hi, I'm Sarah." And I was like, oh no, is he just mad he got eliminated, or did I do like
Maybe he didn't hear you.
But I was happy because like by the end of the interview with him, like we had all laughed and he was in a better mood. I don't know, maybe the person he talked to right before me was grilling him or something, but I was like,
I didn't notice, but that's a little uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, I had to cut that part out. That didn't go into the edit. But then when I am done, I like cut my camera, but I'm still like leaving. And Kira goes, "She had such a lovely smile." And I was like, "Thank you."
Aww.
He's dropping as I was leaving.
Smile.
It's like, "Kira, I love you. Thank you so much." But she was lovely. It was nice to meet her and talk to her for the first time. Yeah, I mean, all these Love Island people are new to me. But that was fun. What else is going on, Chantele? Are you on Rob Has a Podcast this week?
So I'll be doing the round table on Tuesday evening to rate these players. I don't know how I'm going to rate the players on Big Brother this week because I'm so mad at what's going on, and I just like people aren't necessarily playing badly. But so yeah, it'll be an interesting one for sure. Definitely still continuing on with doing Love Island, either right after the episode or the next day in the early evening. Doing a little bit of The Bachelorettes still. That season's starting to wind up. We're at home times now, and yeah, and then just doing the challenge 3 times a week. So yeah, fun times.
Yay! Worth it.
Oh, and you know what? I just did on Rob As a Podcast. I did the Amazing Race Canada episode recap for the most recent episode. So I did talk to Dan Heaton in replacement of Jessica, who was out of town. So
have you been enjoying that season? I did not get to even watch.
Yes and no. I mean, I enjoy The Amazing Race in general, so I find it entertaining and fun. But this season, I feel like it's been so sponsored heavy that like it's kind of taking at me out of the race. It just seems like everything is a sponsored task, and so I don't care about Marshalls. I don't care about Subway. I don't care about Chevy. I don't care about and it's just kind of like sponsored task after sponsored task after sponsored task. The tasks are not even that good. And so that part of it, I'm just kind of like, that's not that fun. But in general, I like watching
Without giving me spoilers, how was it watching Ty and his dad, Tashawn?
I had thought that they would be better racers.
Oh no!
Well, I'm rooting for them, but they're not.
It's hard when you race with a parent, I think. Even the most fit and ready to go parent.
Tashawn's not that good. They're both not good. They're just not very good. like the first episode, like they were going to they had to it's kind of a spoiler, but they had to unscramble a word, and it was a word from Montreal, and they're from Montreal, and they couldn't unscramble the word. And I'm just like, come on, it's a city in Montreal and you can't unscramble this word. And it's just stuff like that. Like it seems some very easy things that they just like don't seem to get, and they don't really have that much hustle. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, he definitely did a better job on Big Brother. I wouldn't say that he is an excellent racer, but
yeah,
I still like
but
seeing him on
then
the
not
screen.
everyone is. That's it happens. Well, I'm excited that Amazing Race Australia is coming up soon, and America, obviously, with Survivor.
Oh, when was that? That's August 28th, right? Maybe that's the 28th that I was thinking in my head. Not September.
It's something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
August 28th, 29th, somewhere in there. Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exciting. I heard it's only twice a week, which is so doable.
Oh boy, so am I going to cover it now?
Yeah,
I don't know.
think about
Actually,
it.
well, if you do it, I'll do it with you. If you do it,
okay. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Thinking about it.
Yeah,
this is going to be wrapping up September something.
Yeah, no, I think if it's twice a week, I don't mind that upkeep. That's going to be fine. Also, all my Love Islands will be done at that time as well. And so like I definitely will have free time. And so, yeah, I can handle that for sure.
Yay. All right. We'll keep you guys up to date on that if we are able to make that happen. Thank you so much for joining us live. We appreciate it. And if you are watching later, please leave a comment. Let us know how you're feeling about, I don't know, Tyson and Sarah together.
That kind of flopped, right?
Kayla and Dom winning. How'd you feel about that? Kyland and Kira out. Let us know all that you're feeling about and how do you feel about no algorithm?
Yes, get rid of it. Individual game. We love it.
All right, we'll see you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.